As I mentioned, the Naira on the losing end of the stick against the dollar at this stage. Many saying it's seasonal factors coming into play. Also, the fact that the demand at the bi-weekly auctions is unable to, or supply rather at the bi-weekly auctions, unable to meet demand. What are you factoring in when we see this declining exchange rate?
Well, you see, like you mentioned, it's actually sort of a seasonal or cyclical factor. Right now, retailers are mainly stocking up for the end-of-year sales, that's Christmas sales. So you expect to see a lot of demand for FX because Nigeria is predominantly an import-dependent country. And so at this time of the year, generally the FX demand is quite heightened, and that is one reason why you see excess demand at the auctions, leading to depreciation in the rates. It's been on like this for the last few sessions, and we expect it to continue for a while until this demand tapers off.
Pent-up demand that we're seeing, do we expect the CBN to increase its issuance at the bi-weekly auctions?
Well, you see, the CBN is committed. Its mandate, it's committed to maintaining a band of ±3% on a 150 Naira to a dollar exchange rate. Immediately it begins to approach that limit, you would expect that the CBN would intervene by either selling more dollars in the market or vice versa. So we do expect that as it ticks up, right now we're at the last auction, the stop rate was 152.81, which is still some distance from the 154.50 limit. And so we expect that if this depreciation continues and approaches the 154.5 limit, then the CBN will increase its offerings at the auctions to bring down the rate.
Some are saying that the NNPC could be coming to the market to sell $500 million this week. Also, there could be additional inflows from the energy sector. To what extent will this help boost the Naira?
Well, because at this time of the month, or at this time of the year, like we explained, there is a lot of demand. So when the NNPC and the other oil majors sell their dollars into the market, it's likely just to have a temporary effect on the rate. It's not likely to lead to an appreciation of the rate, so to speak. We'll probably see it just tempering the rate and maintaining at the same levels.
Let's take a look at the announcement yesterday by Governor Sanusi that the country is looking to diversify foreign exchange reserves away from the dollar, looking to have foreign exchange reserves sitting at 5 to 10% of renminbi at this stage, which would be about $3 billion. Analysts saying that there isn't enough supply of the Chinese currency in order to manage this new policy. What type of challenges do you foresee in implementation of this new policy?
Well, you see, the move to the renminbi is actually more of a global trend, a trend where various countries' central banks are watching the dollar, seeing it weaken, and moving into stronger currencies. So it's part of the tools that, or the strategies that the CBN has come about to manage value for Nigeria's reserves. Now, the Chinese currency, the renminbi, there is a move by the Chinese government to make it more internationally relevant, and so they are encouraging a lot of trade in renminbi, and I don't see it being in short supply. The amount we're talking about, 5 to 10%, is not really much. The rest of the holdings, Nigeria's reserves are still in dollars and euro and pounds. So
as you
it's
say,
not likely to have much of a demand.
As you said, they will still play a key role, the dollar and euro, going forward in reserves. So should Sanusi then be looking to increase this margin to around, say, 20 to 30%? Some analysts saying that would possibly be the correct percentage.
Well, that would be their take, but you see, it's going to have to be a gradual thing. Remember that it was only in January this year that the CBN even allowed the renminbi to be one of the tradable currencies in Nigeria. So it's going to be a gradual move. I guess that after 5 to 10%, they will take a look at what's happening in the world economies and decide whether to increase it or not. But they're starting, first of all, with 5 to 10%.
Let's move on to the spread that exists between the official market and the unofficial market. The governor and the Reserve Bank has taken a lot of actions in order to decrease the spread in the exchange rates between the two markets, removing the earlier $1 million cap that was placed in the sale of foreign exchange to bureau de changes. Has this had the desired effect?
Oh, definitely, yes. When in July, the CBN first of all introduced the cap on cash sales to bureau de change by banks, we saw the difference between the official and the unofficial exchange rate widen to as much as 10 Naira. But right now, after releasing the screws that were tightened before, we now have a situation where the difference between the two markets is close to 2 Naira or less. So it definitely has had an effect. The CBN has intervened into the market by selling cash to banks that have BDCs, and we've seen that effect in the unofficial market. It's brought down the rates, and it's now close to between 150 to 2 Naira. So definitely, yes, the policy has had its effect.